Hello Spin Universe, it's Mallory G. Quinn here from Kansas State University. So we've been recently doing a lot of recipes that are inspired by TV shows and movies and other celebrities. And I recently got into The Office. I know I'm super late to the game, but one of the most iconic and sad moments of that entire series is Kevin's chili. Now, Kevin is so excited about his chili, and then he spills this giant bucket of it all over the carpet at the office and tries to clean it up with a clipboard and stuff, and it's so it just hurts your heart. But today we're gonna make it, and hopefully I won't be spilling it anywhere because I'm not moving other than my kitchen area, and we're gonna be able to enjoy the chili today. I'm from Minnesota, and chili is a huge part of growing up there because it's always cold. I mean, in the winter-ish seasons. And so that's my recipe today is very much inspired by the chili that I grew up with. And to go with our chili, we're going to be making little mini cornbread muffins because that's one of the things that we would always have at my house whenever we had chili. Okay, so we're going to start with the cornbread. And right here I have a cornbread mix. So there's going to be flour, there's cornmeal, there's sugar, and baking soda. And if you wanted to buy all the separate ingredients, you could for sure do that. But a bag of the cornbread mix is 50 cents when you get the little Jiffy boxes. So this is way more bang for your buck. But we're going to actually start with some creamed corn. This is just a can of creamed corn. And I love having the little nuggets of sweet corn in my cornbread. If you don't like that, totally admit it, that's fine. But it's actually going to add a lot of moisture to our cornbread as well. And then I have a quarter cup, that could have been bad, a quarter cup of milk and 1 egg. And that's going to be all that we need for our wet ingredients. I'm going to mix it up a little bit before I add our corn mix, because I want to make sure it gets evenly incorporated, that we have a little bit of corn everywhere we go with all of our muffins. Okay, so now we're going to add the corn mix. Once again, now that we're adding the dry ingredients, we don't want to overmix. And there's definitely going to be some lumps in your cornbread, but that's totally okay. They're going to completely dissolve when they're baking. We don't want it to be tough. But because we added that creamed corn, there's going to be a lot more moisture and less likely to get a tough little muffin. So we just kind of mix it until it's fully incorporated. And this is a lot of a wetter, looser batter because of the cornbread as well, because of the creamed corn. But if you don't add that, it's still totally going to work. You might need to add a little more milk, depending on how much corn you add, or if you don't add corn, just because you want to make sure that the ratios are proper. And now I'm just going to kind of spoon this into our little mini muffin tins. I've also heard that chili and cinnamon rolls is a really big thing. I've never experienced that myself in Minnesota, but between Kansans and people from Colorado, I've heard that that was a common school lunch that they would serve them together, which I feel would be really interesting. I wouldn't think about that. But to pay a little homage to that flavor, we're going to add a little bit of cinnamon to our chili, and it's going to add a really cool, I'm not quite sure what that flavor is, but I like it. That's what it's going to add. Another variation you could do would be adding a little bit of chocolate to your chili. It's going to kind of make it almost like a Mexican-inspired chili. It will be similar to a mole, which is when you have chili and some chocolate together to make a sauce. So that would be kind of, if you decided to do a little bit of bittersweet chocolate, that'd be a cool another umami flavor to it. Also, I am making a mess with this batter, which means I'm doing something right, because what other better place to make a mess than in the kitchen? And yeah, I'm showing that right now.
What should our audience do if they have any questions for you?
You should ask me. I've got a lifetime of knowledge. That's from She's the Man, if you've ever seen that movie. Oh, Amanda Bynes, that was one of her greatest moments. I love it. But yeah, I would love to answer any questions you have. If you have any variations you want to know about, if you're just tuning in, we're making mini cornbread muffins and chili today. Right now, I'm just scooping our cornbread into our mini muffin tin. There's some creamed corn in here. There's cornmeal, flour, baking soda, sugar, an egg, and some milk. All right, so I got most of the batter in the muffin tin. And we're going to put it into our preheated 400-degree oven. This is going to bake for 8 to 10 minutes, depending on the heat of your oven. Make sure you watch them. Oh, it's toasty in there. I'm going to put the timer on because I don't want to forget these guys. They're very vital to the success of this day. Okay, so now that we have our cornbread all situated, we are going to start the chili. I have about a tablespoon of olive oil in my pan, and what we're going to do right now is cook the ground beef that I'm going to start our chili with. If you want to do a vegetarian version, totally don't have to add beef. If you want a little healthier, you could do ground turkey or ground chicken. Or if you just want to do the classic Minnesota way, I think it's the classic Minnesota way from my house at least. We're going to add that. And the cool thing about adding it with the meat at the bottom is that it's going to start a bunch of flavor for us. And that fat rendering off is going to make our meat kind of crispy, but also start a really good base for what we're going for. Any other questions anyone has? Any comments on chili or The Office? Kevin is here with me, hanging out. That smile, gotta love him, right? He's the coolest.
Has this recipe been passed down to you, or did you look it up?
It's been pretty much passed down. My grandma and my mom, chili would always be something that we would have like on a cold Minnesota day, or even like today in Kansas. I wish it was fall, but it's like 80 degrees outside. It's November 1st. So we're going to pretend that it's fall time. And it was something that I would grow up with and that I really kind of just learned how to make by watching my mom and my grandma. And I'm taking a little bit of a twist on it, but it reminds me of home, like smelling the meat browning, and it would cook on the slow cooker or the crock pot all day, or even like on the stove all day, and just, I don't know, it reminds me of home. I think that's one of the best kind of recipes that reminds you of where you grew up. Is chili a part of your life? If not, it can be now.
So how did you make this recipe to fit The Office?
So watching The Office, you can kind of see that it's a basic meat and beans chili that Kevin makes. And I took that inspiration and just kind of, we're going to have a little bit of a toppings bar to go with our chili, which Kevin could have had, it just never made it to like them all to eat, you know? So that's kind of where I found it. His chili looked to be a little different in color than ours. Is going to be like a rich brown. His is a little more orange, red. He probably added a little more like tomato juice or something to it. We're going to add some tomato paste later, but it's going to be like just a true party chili today.
I have to ask, what would you do differently for vegan/vegetarian chili?
Okay, so if you wanted to be vegetarian, just omit the meat. And you can add more beans if you like. One of my favorite things to do when I'm making a vegetarian or vegan chili to get that nice creaminess that you would miss with dairy or with meat, that fatty component, is I will actually grind up the beans and add those in with the liquid, and it makes it nice thick chili and a really good texture, and it's really hearty still. You don't miss the meat, you don't miss the dairy, and you still feels homey and stuff. So that's one of my favorite ways to do that. I like to do that with like white chili, if you use cannellini beans or chickpeas. Navy beans are also really good.
Laura asks, can this girl do a Kevin Malone impression?
Oh, okay, I'm going to do my best. Please be kind, but I'm going to try. Yeah, it's probably what I'm known best for is my chili. Yeah. I hope that was okay. I don't know. I love The Office. I'm really sad that it took me this long to find it, but it's been a good part of my life this year. As I'm rendering off the meat, which just means I'm getting the fat from the meat into the pan, I'm adding a little bit of salt and pepper. We want to layer all of the flavors into this. It's going to give us the best tasting chili. Yum. We're going to cook the meat until all the pink is gone and it's fully cooked. And then once that happens, we're going to add a little bit of chili powder. I don't like doing that before because then you can't tell if the meat is pink or not yet, because this is going to add a red color to it. And we want to make sure the meat is fully cooked.
Ramona asks, do you undercook the onions like Kevin does?
See, I'm actually only going to add onions on top of my chili. So we're going to get that nice crunchy bright onion flavor from that. But if I was making this with the onions at the beginning, I definitely would undercook it. I like a nice bite to the onion. You don't want them soggy or too caramelized. But that's his secret, and this is my secret. We're just changing it up a little bit. Okay, so our meat is all cooked. I'm going to add some chili powder, which is the best part of chili and what makes it chili. And then I'm also going to add a little bit of garlic and onion powder, just to give us a little more flavor. There's the onion for Kevin, little Kev.
And how much would you say these ingredients costed altogether?
Altogether, it was probably only like $10. All the beans that I got were 50 cents a can. The corn was like 60 cents. I went to the salad bar for my toppings, and it was like 60 cents because I just got a little bit of cheese and a little onion, a little pickled jalapeno, and that's going to be a great topping, and then you're not wasting all the money on getting a full block of cheese or an entire onion, which aren't that expensive, but you might not use it, so you don't want to waste it. Okay, so now that I added the seasoning, I toasted it a little bit more because it's going to give a really nice brightness, and it's going to taste like it's been cooking all day, even though it hasn't. And now I'm going to start to add more components, but in order to do that, I need my friend Egypt, who just happens to be walking in right now. There she is. Now Egypt is a chili connoisseur. She knows what she's doing. She might not know Kevin's chili, but she knows good chili.
Yeah, I do.
So she's going to be the perfect person to help me with this. Okay, so now I'm going to be adding 2 tablespoons of tomato paste. And I'm doing this instead of adding tomato juice, but it's going to give us a really rich taste to our chili. And once again, we want to cook it because it's stored in a can. You can also get it in like a tube. It just kind of tastes a little bit of aluminum in there. We don't want any aluminum in our chili. Okay, if you want to grab the beans. Yum. I really hope my smoke alarm doesn't go off again. I think we should be good. But luckily, I know what to do if it does go off. Yum, yum, yum. This smell right now is like exactly what I would smell growing up with. Do you guys have any other questions? Any recipe changes, dietary questions? I'm here for you.
Edwin asks a pretty simple question.
Okay.
What is your name and what are we doing here?
What's up? My name is Mallory. You can call me Mal Pal if you like. My closest friends do. We are making Kevin's chili with some mini cornbread muffins. Inspired by The Office, but we're taking a little bit of a Mal Pal take on it. So we're a little different. A little Minnesotan flair in there for you. Okay, so my chili is really starting well. We've got some seasoning, we got ground beef and tomato paste going in our pan. And now I'm going to be adding some chicken stock. Girl, you can come over here if you want. Yeah. She's working on the beans. That's going to be the next component. I've got 2 cups of chicken stock. Yeah. Going vegetarian, you can add veggie stock. You could also add some water. You could do red wine too. That would give a nice richness to it. Any kind of liquid though. What we're doing is deglazing our pan, which means we're just getting all the nice crispy brown bits with a ton of flavor off the bottom of the pan, which also makes for better cleanup later. And we're just going to be adding that to our meat.
What kind of beans are we using, Egypt?
So,
Or
that's my
more, Mallory.
No, we're good.
She has chili hot beans, and she has pinto beans, and then in here she has black beans.
Ooh.
And our muffins aren't quite ready, so I'm doing like 2 more minutes. After that timer goes off, we'll be at 10 minutes. So my black beans I actually rinsed off because they're not in chili like these ones, and these ones are as well. And we don't want that flavor of the canned beans. Sometimes it's not very pleasant, so I rinsed those. But because the other ones are packed in chili sauce, we're gonna keep all that delicious flavor. And I'm bringing my pot of ground beef and chicken stock and all our seasonings to a boil. Now I'm going to add a little bit of cinnamon. So for those of you that remember the cinnamon rolls and chili, I'm adding about just like half a teaspoon, but it's going to give a really cool flavor where you're like, I don't know why I like this so much, but I do. And I don't know what the flavor is, but it's good. That's what we're going for.
What did you usually have with your chili when you were growing up?
I would have sweet cornbread, and that's pretty much it. Or crackers. Crackers are really good with our chili, too.
We're boiling, I smell it. Sorry for this. This is a very old, as you can see, but it works. That's what matters.
work.
It like half works, kind of.
Sometimes, you know.
I mean, we're just trying to get there. Shaking it with the beans and boiling away. Okay, so my chili came to a boil. I'm going to start to reduce it, and it's going to thicken as it does that. The tomato paste is really going to help thicken our sauce.
Edwin asks again, how many servings does this make?
How many servings? I would say you're going to get about 4 to 6 servings out of this recipe. I only have 3/4 of a pound of meat. You can probably get up to 8 to 10, depending on how many cans of beans you add and how much meat you add. My family, we had like 10 people growing up. Oh, chili, I'm making a mess. We had 10 people in our house growing up, and we would sometimes we would have upwards of 2 pounds of meat, depending on, I mean, I have 2 brothers they went through that teenage stage. I mean, they're still in it. They're 18 now. and you need a little more. I'm being very careful because I don't want to cut myself. These aluminum cans are very sharp. My mom's cut herself before. I'm just going to make a mess instead. Okay, that's the timer. Do you want to check on the cornbread and see how we're doing? Just see if we should have a nice golden color on top. They don't look quite done. We could do like another 2 minutes maybe. Or do they look good to you? I trust you.
I know around the edges are getting a little brown.
Okay, maybe like 2 more minutes then?
Yeah, let's do it.
Usually it's like 10 to 12 depending on your oven. Okay, come on chili beans, work with me. It's a nice shake and pour method I'm doing, like a Parmesan shake, you know? That's what I'm going for right now. Okay.
You
We're
want me to
almost
work on
there.
that?
I think we're there. We're good. Okay. Well, if you want to add that to our chili, I will wash my hands though. So Egypt's adding our black beans, our pinto beans, and our hot chili beans. We both like a little bit of spice, so that's what we're going with today. Yum! Oh my gosh. This looks kind of like the color of Kevin's. We're getting there. Can you see it, friends? Yum chili. Yum chili. Another good thing you could add to this, if we weren't doing cornbread, sometimes I like to add a little bit of corn to my chili. You could add some like green chilies or something. But because we got the hot beans and we're going to add some pickled jalapenos on top, I think we're good on this spice.
Yeah, I think we are
sense,
too.
right? So this is a fun little toppings bar, courtesy of the salad bar at your local grocery store. Got some red onions. We got some shredded cheese, sharp cheddar cheese. That's a good tongue twister.
It is.
I also got some bacon and rendered that off, so just crisped it up in a pan, and then some jalapenos. And you can't have chili without sour cream, I feel like.
Isabel asked, could you add zucchini to this?
That'd be good. Yeah, if you want to get a little more veggies, you could do like zucchini, onion, maybe some mushrooms or peppers. Start it off that way. Then add your meat or just your beans if you want to go it that way. Chili's cool because you really can add whatever you like, you know. I'm going to bring this back up to a boil. So I'm going to turn our heat up a little higher just to get it cooking all together. We want to cook the beans just a little bit, but we're almost there. I mean, this is chili.
I'm excited.
This is chili.
Especially for the spice.
Yeah, I'm really accustomed to spice. I made myself, ate sriracha and everything, and now I'm like, get a jalapeno, and I only sweat a little bit versus like crying. Oh, this is a really good texture too. I like my chili a little thicker. If you like it a little more soupy, you could add more chicken stock or veggie stock, whatever you're using. And if you like it even thicker, you just don't even have to add chicken stock. Oh my gosh, these look good. Okay, I think we're ready. I think our buddy's coming out.
Bethany asks, how spicy is this?
Well, the only spice that we have is from our hot chili beans and then from the pickled jalapenos. So if you want to just do regular chili beans, if you're not quite with the spice, then that's totally okay. And you could just not put the jalapenos on top. But it's going to be a nice even spice, I would say. And we have, it's probably coming out. Oh my God. My kitchen is so small. Like, you open one door and it hits another one. Come on. These, okay, I can't do those. Yeah, we're just going to use some towels. Don't try this at home, friends. Like, use oven mitts. I just need these to come out. Oh my gosh. Okay, there. We're working. We got them. They're here. All right. So one of my favorite ways to eat cornbread is with a little bit of honey. I don't know if you're the same.
I've never had it, but I'm
okay,
gonna try it.
I think we need to try it. Wait, I have honey over here. This is like my favorite part about eating cornbread is having. The first time I had cornbread was at Famous Dave's, and I don't really like their barbecue very much, but
You like that?
their cornbread is worth it. Like just to go there for that, and it's nice and like sweet and honey. Okay, I'm gonna get a little knife to take this off, and our chili is starting to boil again. Chili, I think, tastes best when it like cooks all day and it's really, fills the house and everything. But if you don't have the time for that, like today, we made this entire meal in 20 minutes. Like, all of it is happening together. I didn't make anything in advance in like Magic Kitchen. You open the door and it's like, look, I already have this cake. Today, it's just completely what we got here.
Which is nice for college students who don't have time to spend
Right?
all day in the kitchen.
Yeah, exactly. I think and when I get hungry, I'm like, I don't want to wait. Exactly. Which is why I think some people will go and get fast food or whatever before because they're impatient and hungry. And college is hard,
Yes, I know.
Egypt, what has your experience cooking in college been like?
So I just recently found out that the crock pot exists, and
it's
so
beautiful. That's a beautiful thing.
I put a lot of things in there, and I let it stew all day, and then when I come home, it's like, honey, I'm home. Here's your food, and then I just,
And you like forget about all the work it took because you went about your day.
exactly. It's so nice,
So good.
so nice.
Okay.
Oh my goodness.
All right. Now the toppings are all up to you. We would also often do like chips, like corn chips or Fritos at my house, and I think a good chili you should be able to dip it like with a chip, and it comes up on the chip, and you can eat it. That's how like thick I like my chili.
Ritz crackers were our thing in my house.
Yum.
How do you use these corn muffins? Do you dip them?
You can dip them. You can just eat them by themselves. It's totally like whatever. I mean, they're really cute. You could even put them as like little croutons on top of your chili. You gotta make sure. I feel like cheese should always go first because it melts from the heat of your chili.
I did not do that.
Wow, you messed it all. I worked so hard. I'm just kidding.
I needed my spice to go in first.
Oh yeah, well then it kind of cooks it a little bit. I think we should use a spoon for the. I mean, I thought about just going for or like pouring it, but then I probably would have had the entire thing. There's such a thing as too much sour cream. A little bit of onion, a little bacon, because bacon.
Right. Can't go wrong with
I feel
it.
like all these toppings are almost like what you would have on a loaded baked potato.
That's what
kind
I
of.
was thinking. I think you're right.
Okay, there's our chili, complete with our cute little cornbread. Should make a little tower. Yeah, okay, go for it. As much as you want. I have so much.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Okay.
I'm gonna mix mine.
Yeah, I think that's the appropriate way, because then you get everything put together. And then we can taste it. It's kind of hot, so be careful. Both temperature and spicy. Okay, perfect bite. Mm-hmm.
You didn't even get a
I
cornbread.
like mine separate. Oh my gosh, this like just takes me back to my house.
I think I want to put mine in half.
Yeah, that's good. I'm gonna put some honey on mine. Oh, the honey almost went into my chili. That would have been good. Okay. Ready for this, friends?
I don't think I'm ready.
Look at that. Oh, nugget of heaven. With the little pieces of corn inside of it.
Wow.
They're like so fluffy, and then it's like, here's a corn surprise on the inside.
Oh yeah, that's really good.
So good. Okay, well, I'm happy.
Yeah, me too.
I hope you all too, and that you're inspired to try this. Tune in next Tuesday for who knows what's next. Kevin doesn't even know.